Hi, this is Alex Steen, and you're listening to Animal House Radio with Aaron and Dr. Mike.
But they had a scare here where 3 or 4 dogs came down with this deadly virus, and the good news on this story is that no one died from this disease, because it is a fairly fatal disease if caught late. So it's just a nice little story, but the shelter had to be shut down. Apparently, they're going to be reopening the shelter on December 4th.
I like how you opened the segue there. Oh, it's not a bad story. And then the top of my paper says, virus outbreak at Animal Center. I'm like, that's pretty serious.
It is serious, but it ended up nobody got hurt, so I thought that was a good story in the end.
Were any animals killed?
No animals died from this disease.
Okay,
they were all
so they caught it in
really
time.
Well. They caught it in time, exactly. If you catch it early, it's treatable.
Is this something that, if they didn't catch in time, could have really caused some damage within the community of pets in that area?
Oh, because it's a very infectious disease. That's why they shut down the shelter. I mean, they didn't want any of the dogs that they were adopting out even to be in contact with that virus, because if they got adopted out and that dog was carrying the parvovirus, it could spread to. It can get ugly.
So good for this company, good for the shelter, because they were very proactive in this approach, and they weren't.
And thankfully, no one died, and it turned out really well.
You know, it's like that story. If you have certain people and companies who do things right, sometimes even with thinking or without thinking. There's a classic case with Tylenol. I don't know if you know this, but about 10 years ago, Tylenol had all their shipments go out to all their pharmaceutical stores, like Shoppers Drug Mart and stuff like that. And what happened was one person opened up a box of Tylenol at a Shoppers, and the case was open. They opened up every single other box, and all the cases were open on the top. The security seal. Yep. They called up Tylenol. One person in the marketing department made a decision saying, take down every single Tylenol that we have in every store across North America. In Canada, we're going to ship brand new ones in there. People had brand loyalty and trust to Tylenol for doing that, because they didn't wait and see. They didn't investigate. They said, you know what? If there's even a chance that something could happen, we're going to take care of this now. And that's good. This type of story with this shelter is the same type of thing, being proactive, not reactive to a situation, as Deborah would always say. She always says, Aaron, reactive, proactive. That's all she says. And that is the news, and that is brought to you by our good friends at Dealing with Dogs. Lifestyle obedience for you and your puppy. Serving Oakville, Toronto, Mississauga, and Burlington. Call 905-469-1555. Great training. Check them out, dealingwithdogs.com. You got to check them out. And now for the next segment of the week. It's my favorite segment, and I got 2 reasons why I love it. I won't say it. Dr. Mike's Nutritional Nuggets.
Alrighty, so we're going to have our featured topics on outdoor cats. So I thought, you know what, let's stick to the theme. And so I thought I'd talk about, what if someone does have an outdoor cat, what should they look at in terms of feeding the cat? And especially in this kind of weather, I'm kind of glad that we reached the cold weather, because this is a time where you have to really watch your outdoor cats. And they have to realize that cats who are out in the cold are obviously going to have higher nutritional requirements being out in the cold than an indoor cat would. So that's one thing that people who have outdoor cats need to think about. The second thing they need to think about is, and this isn't necessarily in the wintertime, but if all of a sudden you're noticing that your outdoor cat seems to be eating a lot more and potentially losing weight, there's many possibilities in terms of what can cause that. But one of the things is parasites, and that's what we're going to talk about in our segment. Is a lot of outdoor cats are prone to picking up parasites, and specifically something like a tapeworm can cause them to lose weight, and yet they need to eat more. So if you're noticing your cat is eating more and he's an outdoor cat, you should certainly talk to your veterinarian about the possibility of tapeworms. The biggest one that I find at this time of year, we see a lot of male cats, and everybody who has a male cat needs to listen to this. We see a lot of male cats, and a lot of them are outdoors, who end up getting a condition called feline lower urinary tract disease. We also call it FUS, feline urologic syndrome. And what happens is, as the wintertime comes, the humidity drops, and these cats, their urine is much more concentrated. They're much more prone to having crystals produced in their urine. And so they end up having these urinary tract problems. So you got to make sure, if you have an outdoor cat or an indoor cat that's male, that they're on a specific diet that's designed so that they're not prone to feline lower urinary tract disease. And that's it. It's time for our feature topic.
Well, just to go back there on that, how do these crystals formulate, though?
Well, they're just, these cats, if they're on inappropriate diets where they have crystals in their urine anyway, if you have a few little crystals and a very dilute urine, it's not that big a deal. But take a few little crystals and a small little concentrated sample, and they all come together, and then they have more of a chance of getting stuck on the way out.
Now, when you look at, this is a silly question, but when you look through any of your instruments, does it actually look like a crystal?
It does. Yeah,
Really?
it's amazing. When you look at struvite crystals under a microscope, I'll show them to you next time you're in the clinic.
Thank you.
They look like little diamonds almost. I mean, they almost look like little jewelry, to be honest with you. They're quite neat looking. Same thing with calcium oxalate stones or crystals. When you see those, they just have an interesting architecture to them.
What's the largest crystal you've ever seen?
Well, the largest crystals turn into stones. The largest stone I've
Okay.
ever seen is the size of my hand. I've seen a baseball-sized stone.
What'd you do with
One single stone. Nothing. I sent it off to be analyzed. It was a struvite stone, a magnesium ammonium phosphate stone.
it? Did you call Guinness?
No, because I know there's more. I've seen some that just would blow your mind. And it's
Really?
unbelievable. I'll show you. I have a bag of stones that I removed from a beagle some 10 years ago. And you would not believe that these stones were in this dog's bladder, but they were.
Wow, small
So,
dog.
fascinating.
Yeah, no, interesting. Oh, amazing. Feature topic of the week. And by the way, that segment, thank you very much, Rocky, coming up. That segment was brought to you by Gerald Schwartz, our accountant at Animal House Radio. Big thumbs up to Gerald Schwartz doing our job.
Thank you.
Making sure we get paid on time. Thank you, Gerald. Thank you very much. Feature topic of the week, once again, we are talking about cats. We are talking about outdoor cats. We are talking about indoor cats. We are talking about cats. Now, we're going to focus a little bit more about outdoors. Now, you know what? Here's one thing I want to ask Janelle. Janelle, pick up the mic, please. It's okay. Go on the mic. It's okay.
Oh, can hear you. There you go.
Oh, there you
Hi.
go. Say hi. Say hi to everybody listening. Say hi to your mom.
Hello, Shirley.
There you
I
go.
don't
Well,
call
you
you
could
Shirley,
you could
but
have
I-
you could have said hi, mom, instead
Hi,
of
Mom.
hello,
Okay.
Shirley. Hi, Shirley. You live in Saskatchewan.
Yes.
You lived in Saskatchewan. Living in a farm and living in just Bushwhack City where you lived in. Tell me, was there an issue with outdoor cats in Saskatchewan?
First of all, I didn't live in a bushwhack farm or town, but there was a lot of cat problems at downtown Regina. I don't know exactly what they're taking care of.
So a lot of outdoor cats
Yeah.
in general.
I've
Okay.
seen
So it was a problem there.
I guess so, yeah.
Okay.
Do you think, is there somewhat of a problem out east? Where would you say the problem is worse? Out west or in the east?
Well, where I'm living right now, I haven't seen any in Whitby, so I'm not too sure.
Oh.
Okay.
So so living on the farm and stuff like that with your parents, did you adopt any of these cats?
Unfortunately, I'm allergic and I could not take in pets.
Oh. Okay, well, we don't want to talk to you anymore.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you very much, Janelle.
Let's talk about some of the things that outdoor cats. I mean, you had an outdoor cat when you were a kid, apparently.
I had a cat all my life.
Yeah.
And I still miss her every day, Kimmy. And she was an outdoor cat from the moment I found
And
her.
when you say outdoor cat, we're talking
I
about
found-
strictly outside. Oh, you found her outside.
I found her in the alley when she was maybe 3 or 4 weeks old. She was an alley cat, beautiful cat. And I found her, and we brought her in, and she came in the house. And I remember this is no word for a lie. She ran up the tree. I was about 8 years old. She ran up the tree. I freaked out. I ran to the fire department saying, guys, my cat's up in a tree. They laughed. They're like, okay, don't worry. We don't do that stuff anymore. I'm like, you've been doing it on TV. And yeah, Joe's laughing, but it's true. And I swear to you, this happened. So I came back home, and then an hour later, she ran back down the tree. And I'm like, oh, man, you...
Now, was it you? Did you try to make her an indoor cat, and she ended up just wanting to go outside, or did you say, "Hey, you know what? She's been outside all her life. I think I'll keep her outside."
No, well, she was
Was it a
she was
decision?
so young, and I think we kind of put the trust in her.
Okay.
You kind of get the idea. We start letting her out, and then all of a sudden, what started happening was we would start hearing meows outside our windows and our doors, and we figured out that she was actually a pretty smart cat. That she would go outside, and then she would go to the front door and meow, or she would go to my window where she knew I was asleep, and she would scratch at the window to let herself in.
Let herself in.
Yeah,
Yeah,
to let
that's
herself
pretty
in.
Cool cat being able to lift the window.
She
like that.
did. She was very strong. She was able to lift. My cat was one of those cats where all of her life, 21 years, she would gum inside. She would stay inside for a day or two, and she would go outside. But then there were always risks. I remember trying to figure out what does she do when she's outside. And some of the things that she used to do was amazing. She would follow me for half a mile, 25 minutes. She would follow me. She was one of those very intelligent cats. And those cats come along once in a lifetime. But
Right.
there were always risk factors.
Now, 21 years of age, that's pretty amazing for an outdoor cat. I don't know if you know this, but the average lifespan of an indoor cat is 14 years, and the average lifespan of an outdoor cat is 10 years.